frustration in a recent interview claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just...
Go ahead, I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment. And that's pretty gross.
Brittney Griner just got dunked on, off the court and straight into viral infamy. Vincent Oshana, co-host of Patrick Bet-David's show, went full prime Jordan with a scorching takedown after Griner took a racially charged shot at Caitlin Clark. His clapback exposed the hypocrisy so clearly it had the WNBA looking like it fouled out of common sense. The internet lit up faster than a buzzer-beater 3. Regret that trade yet? Because if Griner's the face of the league, maybe keeping the Merchant of Death benched wasn't such a bad idea after all.
I mean, and Adam, I know, Adam, you definitely have something to say, and I know Adam, I'm going to piggyback off of Adam because Adam's been saying this for a while, that this is why the WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for bending the knee. Do you guys remember when she said, when we lost all respect for her, when she said, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. And the more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing. That's when it was all over. And Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, they walk around like the league owes them something. Even Ryan Clark's attitude as if, bro, where's the victimhood? These are freaking millionaires. Like, what?
Let's be completely honest. This league isn't just unprofessional, it's a full-blown disaster. And we're not talking about minor slip-ups like a missed travel call. No, this is next-level chaos. Locker room drama, blatant rule violations, and an overall lack of structure that feels more reality TV than professional sports. This is supposed to be elite women's basketball, not an episode of The Real Housewives of Elbow Throws. At this point, even street ball has more order and respect.
So the whole market reacts to this with Brittney Griner, right? And then the other quote, Rob, then I'm going to wrap this up and then I'm going to go to Adam. Put the quote of Brittney Griner, what she said about the NBA. This is so funny how all this stuff works out, right? She says, this is from Brittney. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called a freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the game.
You tune in expecting skillful plays, sportsmanship, and standout leadership. But instead, you're met with cheap shots, coded language, and moments that feel more like a WWE SmackDown than a professional basketball game. Let's be real. No fan pays for courtside seats hoping to witness a personal grudge match dressed up as competition. No one watches the All-Star game thinking, I hope someone hurls a racially charged insult and throws a flagrant elbow. Yet here we are, Caitlin Clark, America's basketball darling, is being targeted like it's hunting season. Not because she's dirty, but because she's dominant. And yes, because she's white.
This is what Brittney Griner calls. I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
That pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's keep up the act that this is just about competition and harmless rookie hazing. Right. Meanwhile, league executives sit courtside with popcorn, grinning like it's primetime entertainment. Spoiler alert, it's not. This isn't helping the game grow. It's torching its integrity, tossing it into a flaming dumpster and shouting heat check, like that somehow makes it all okay.
Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark. And it doesn't take a lot of genius to lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl. Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had ever suggested the same in reverse, using black as opposed to white in that sentence, that'd be the end of her WNBA career. But Brittney Griner is going strong. It's totally fine.
Let's talk about the referees. The people who are supposed to be the calm, consistent adults in the room, armed with whistles and the authority to keep the game fair. Instead, they're out here officiating like they're drawing names from a raffle drum. One player exhales too hard, and boom, technical foul. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark gets launched into the third row like she's in a WWE match, and the ref is too busy updating their Spotify playlist. Was that a foul? Sorry, I was jamming to Beyoncé. Seriously, the standard of officiating is so laughably inconsistent, it feels like they're flipping a coin mid-play. Heads, we call it. Tails, she gets body slammed. This isn't just bad refereeing, it's a complete failure of the system. We don't need refs who act like they're guessing bingo numbers. We need people who actually understand the game and enforce the rules with clarity, fairness, and consistency. Because without that, what are we even watching? Sports? Or some twisted theater of chaos? And let's be real, it's not just the refs. The league needs to clean house, toss out the racial agitators, the enforcers in sneakers, and the bench warmers who think they're in a Quentin Tarantino film. Fire the coaches who let this mess slide. Replace the executives who think controversy is a business model. A real league doesn't chase clout through chaos. It earns respect through integrity, skill, and true professionalism.
I don't know for sure what was going on with what cameras caught Brittney Griner saying on the bench after she had fouled out against Caitlin Clark's Fever in Atlanta. I waited to comment on this until the WNBA was able to investigate it. I wanted them to issue a statement about it, but we have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing. And Brittney Griner has not commented, which I find...
Here's the truth. There are women out there grinding every single day, pouring their heart and soul into basketball. They're perfecting their skills, studying film, training harder than ever, and leading by example both on and off the court. For these athletes, basketball isn't just a game, it's a way of life. Yet, what do they get in return? Sharing the spotlight with clowns who treat the league like a personal Twitter feud. The real pros are being overshadowed by headline-hungry brawlers who think throwing shade and cheap shots is part of the playbook. This isn't some middle school gym class drama. This is the WNBA, or at least it should be. With every dirty play, every slur that goes ignored by the media, the league chips away at its own credibility, respect, and viewership. It's not Caitlin Clark or any rookie dragging the league down. It's the league itself tripping over its own issues, face-planting on national TV, then blaming the fresh talent for its struggles. And don't buy into that growing pains excuse. Imagine being a young girl watching the WNBA for the first time, dreaming of one day playing on that court. Instead of inspiration, she sees veterans ganging up on a rookie, referees ignoring violence, and commentators spinning it all as passion. That's not passion, that's poison, and it's time to call it out.
Sports Porters, well, we're going to talk about Brittney Griner. That's right, the WNBA's woke trifecta. She's black. She's a woman, ? And she is lesbian. My goodness. That is the leftist propaganda machine that actually happens to play basketball, the WNBA. That is their wet dream of a player. By the way, the whole league is ate up with that.
And the league's just sipping it up like it's Gatorade, acting like none of this matters. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here taking elbows like she's stepping into the UFC octagon, enduring hard hits and dirty plays that would make any casual fan cringe. And the league's response? Silence. Complete crickets. Maybe, if you're lucky, a vague, passive-aggressive press release drops 3 days later, saying absolutely nothing of substance. The message couldn't be clearer. If you're not part of the mean girl clique, you're on your own. And the hypocrisy? It's nuclear. Flip the script. If Caitlin Clark had said anything remotely controversial about a player like Brittney Griner, or if she'd made a reckless, dangerous move, the media circus would be relentless. CNN would have cameras camped outside her house. ESPN would host non-stop panels debating her every word. She'd be publicly canceled, forced into sensitivity training, and the league would be issuing scripted apologies like they were hostage negotiations. But Griner? She casually drops a racial slur and shoulder checks an opponent, and suddenly it's all brushed off as competitive fire. No way. You cannot preach empowerment while shielding bullies. You cannot demand equality while ignoring racial slurs just because they come from the right side. That's not empowerment. It's cowardice disguised in a jersey. And to the fans who say, it's just part of the game, I ask, what game are you watching? If the game now tolerates hate, race baiting, and sanctioned aggression, maybe it's time for a new rule book or an entirely new league.
Has happened to her in the last 2 years since graduating college is that she has been abused repeatedly. We have shown you videos just getting elbowed, getting crushed, inbound passes where they ram into her, just absolutely abused, and there clearly is a racial element to it. Here is Brittney Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
Fouled out at 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
All right, so she wants to be seen. She knows the cameras are on her. Trash white girl. She wants to be seen saying,
Want real growth? Want to build a loyal fan base? Here's the playbook. Act like true professionals. Respect the sport. Respect your opponents. Show the next generation of young girls tuning in that making it to the WNBA isn't about starting fights or drama. It's about being elite athletes who carry themselves with dignity on and off the court. To the WNBA executives, this is your moment. Your shot clock is winding down. The league can no longer afford to sweep these controversies under the rug or pretend this chaos is just business as usual. Spoiler alert, it isn't. It's time to call the fouls, clean up the court, and for the love of basketball, stop treating professionalism like some optional extra. The WNBA should be the place where talent meets respect and sportsmanship shines brightest. Instead, right now, it feels like a bizarre mashup between reality TV drama and a street fight, none of which belongs in professional basketball. If the league keeps heading down this path, don't be surprised when fans turn their backs and take their support and their wallets elsewhere. We didn't sign up for off-court controversies and racial drama disguised as competition. We signed up for clean, elite, inspiring basketball. Until the WNBA decides whether it wants to be a respected professional league or just another soap opera with no foul rules, the ball is in their court. It's time for a game-changing call. Recently, Brittney Griner got dunked on, figuratively, when Patrick Bet-David's co-host Vincent Oshana called out a racial shot at Caitlin Clark, exposing the league's lack of common sense and professionalism. The WNBA needs to step up and prove it deserves the spotlight, not the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
League. As far as I understand, it's mostly women without penises, but I leave that to you to figure it. Well, it's actually a little unclear because this Brittney Griner, a lot of people think she's a dude. But in any event, Brittney Griner is a black basketball player who some people think is a man. I don't know. I guess she's a woman. Let's just say she's a woman. Here's a chick, a black chick. And then, of course, there's Caitlin Clark. And everyone knows Caitlin Clark. She is and Brittney Griner is a fine player, I suppose. We'll get to that in a minute. But Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever to elevate WNBA to the point that guys might start talking about it and going, boy, she really is something else.
The takedown was so brutal. It's spreading like wildfire. Faster than a buzzer-beater three-pointer at the buzzer. Hypocrisy? Check. Trade regrets? Absolutely. If Griner is supposed to be the franchise cornerstone, maybe we should have kept the so-called merchant of death sitting on the bench instead. Let's be honest. This league's professionalism is not just lacking. It's downright embarrassing. And we're not talking about minor slip-ups like missed calls or a bad travel call here and there. No. This is the kind of chaos where the locker room feels like it's ablaze and someone has just thrown the rule book into the flames. Fans tune in expecting solid plays, leadership, and good sportsmanship. But instead, what do they get? Shade, slurs, and WWE-level drama, complete with media gaslighting to cover it all up. No one shells out money for courtside seats just to watch a personal vendetta parade. Yet, here we are, with Caitlin Clark, America's rising basketball star, getting blindsided as if it's open season just because she's talented and, oh yeah, white. But sure, let's keep pretending this is all about competition and rookie hazing. Yeah, right.
Was a victim of racial things being said or heard, which a lot of people have come out with what the noise actually was, and it's been disproven. The WNBA launched an investigation on Indiana Fever fans. Nothing has come out of it. The WNBA, in fact, one journalist said, may or may not ever disclose the verdict on the situation, which doesn't shock me, because I'm sure they've dug in and they're like, oh crap, we've got no proof of anything. All the while,
Meanwhile, the league's leadership is sitting courtside with popcorn, grinning like this whole mess is just great for ratings. But here's the spoiler. It's not. This isn't growing the game. It's tossing basketball into a flaming dumpster and shouting, "Heat check!" This chaotic spectacle does nothing but tarnish what should be a showcase of skill and sportsmanship. And what about the refs? The supposed adults in the room, the ones wielding whistles and authority to keep things fair. You'd have better luck finding consistency in a toddler's crayon drawing. One player breathes too hard near another, and suddenly it's a technical foul. Caitlin Clark gets shoved clear into the third row, and the referee looks like they're busy updating their Spotify playlist. Oh, was that a foul? Sorry, I was vibing to Beyoncé. The officiating standard is so shattered you'd think they're flipping coins to decide calls. Fair and consistent refereeing isn't just a nice to have, it's the bare minimum. Without it, what exactly are we watching? A highlight reel or a hate crime? And now, it's time to call the flagrant foul on the league itself. Clean house. Get rid of the racial agitators, the bullies in sneakers, and the bench warmers who act like they're starring in a Quentin Tarantino flick. Fire the coaches who silently endorse this madness.
Jamel Hill used to work with her at ESPN. I believe Jamel said Griner actually said fucking whack call, and that could be the case. I'm not a lip reader. But it sure looks to me like the last word is girl, not call. Tell me I'm wrong. So Griner didn't commit her sixth foul.
Here's the truth. Countless women are grinding every single day, honing their skills, pushing their limits, and dedicating their lives to basketball. They train hard, study game footage, and lead by example both on and off the court. They've made basketball their passion and their purpose. So what do they get in return? Sharing the spotlight with players who treat the game like a personal Twitter feud, more interested in drama than the sport itself. The real professionals, the ones who respect the game and elevate it, are being overshadowed by headline-chasing antics and petty conflicts that belong nowhere near the WNBA. This league isn't some middle school gym class. It's supposed to be a showcase of talent, grit, and professionalism. But with every dirty play and every overlooked insult, the league's credibility, respect, and viewership take a hit. It's not Caitlin Clark holding the league back. It's the league stumbling over its own missteps and blaming rookies for its problems. And don't fall for the growing pains excuse. It's time for real change.
Outkick has, I will give them credit for this. They have been on the WNBA's ass about, hey, when are you going to make a comment about this? You opened an investigation into Indiana Fever fans alleging racism against Angel Reese from a game the other day, by which there was absolutely no proof of. People even came out and proved what the supposed racist noise was. It was a YouTuber, Flat Reacts. Neither here nor there. Guess what? Kathy Engelbert and you too, Adam Silver, by the way.
And the league is guzzling it like it's Gatorade, Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's dodging elbows like she's stepping into the UFC ring. And the league's response? Deafening silence. Crickets chirping louder than any statement. Maybe a vague, passive-aggressive press release drops days later, saying absolutely nothing. The message couldn't be clearer. If you're not part of the mean girl clique, you're on your own. And the hypocrisy? It's nuclear. Flip the script. If Caitlin Clark had uttered anything remotely controversial about someone like Griner or made a risky move, CNN would be camped outside her doorstep. ESPN would run a week-long special. She'd be canceled publicly, dragged through sensitivity training, and the league would be stuck reading scripted apologies like hostages. But Griner? She throws out a slur and a shoulder check, and suddenly it's just competitive fire.
The other day, stemming from the Atlanta Dream and Indiana Fever game, was Brittney Griner caught on camera mouthing what certainly looks a hell of a lot like trash and effing white girl. All right, we all seen it. Right here, trash, effing white girl. That is certainly at the end of that. I'm sorry. I know people are trying to say effing whack call.
Want growth? Want more fans? Here's the play. Act like professionals. Respect the game. Respect your opponents. Show the next generation of young girls watching that reaching the WNBA isn't about fighting. It's about being the best. And to the WNBA executives, your shot clock is running out. It's time to make a decision. Because right now, the only thing more embarrassing than Brittney Griner's cheap shots is the league pretending this chaos is just business as usual. Spoiler alert, it's not. Until the WNBA chooses whether it wants to be a serious professional league or a live-action soap opera with a free foul policy, the ball's in their court. Let's see if they can finally, miraculously, make the right call. And remember, Caitlin Clark is just 23, a rookie. She's just getting started.
And look, that's why I say allegedly. There's plenty of white girls on the Indiana Fever team. But I don't know if any of them elicit emotions out of black women and black people like Caitlin Clark. So allegedly, let's just assume that she was talking about Caitlin Clark. And I said, oh my God, she just helped. She just helped Caitlin Clark and hurt the WNBA. One of the things y'all got to understand is that the WNBA is trying to sell the fact that it's Caitlin Clark fans that are the problem with the WNBA.
And why? Because she's good? Because she draws crowds? Because the stands actually fill up when she plays? Because she gets cheers, jersey sales, and maybe even the occasional smile from a referee? Welcome to sports, folks. That's how it works when you're a star. You attract attention. If the league can't handle a player's success without turning into jealous bitterness, then maybe the problem runs deeper than missed shots. Clark is still figuring things out. She's going to make mistakes. She'll have off nights. She might say awkward things in interviews. She's 23, just learning to do her own laundry and file taxes. Cut her some slack as she navigates a league that seems more like an obstacle course of dodgeballs and landmines. But let's be crystal clear. None of that justifies what she's facing. Not the racial abuse, not the cheap physical shots.